Hello everyone, this is your coach Mehnaz Amjad. I welcome you to the Coaching Clarity series, and today I bring to you the story of breaking our patterns. I've titled it as The Pattern I Couldn't See Until I Got Fired Twice, because this is a story in which I'm going to share with you my own first-hand experience of being fired from my job twice, so that this experience of mine will help you along with the tool to break yours and not really end up derailing your career the way I ended up. Let's get started. I got fired twice. Both times I had no idea why. Well, I had my reasons, I had my own excuses, my external explanations that I would tell myself when twice I was fired, despite the fact that performance was not the issue. However, beneath the performance, if we keep that aside, there was another truth to it, which was I couldn't see the pattern. And the very reason why I kept ending up in the same situation, different job, but same problem. And the same dynamic continued. So if, just like me, you find yourself being in a same situation, however, you find that the results more or less are the same. You're repeating those patterns because just like me, you're probably not able to see yours either. Here's my story and a tool that might help you break it. The very first time. So the very first time I was fired, before that year, I was on a promotion spree consecutively for the past 5 years. So can you believe it? A person who's been promoted year on year for the past 5 years, the sixth year, I was called into my senior lead office and I was handed a slip into my hand. This slip had a tag, and on that tag it was written PIP, which means Performance Improvement Program. It also meant that I only had few weeks to improve my performance or I'll be shown the door. Now, the very first time when I was introduced to this reality about me, I blamed everyone, all the external factors that I could lay my hands on, the boss, the company, the bad luck, and whatnot, except for myself. The next time, many years later, again, thick into my work, very successful launch of a very complex project. I had my senior boss flew down from another country and I was supposed to have a goal setting meeting with him that day. But then as I entered the room and sat down for the goal setting as I suppose it to be, I was told I lost my job. And I just sat there for 5 minutes because it was difficult to sink into what was it that was happening again. Again, my mind immediately conjured up images of what could have gone wrong. Oh, is it the boss, the system, and all that stuff? Except my own self, I was not really able to lay a finger on where exactly these patterns were getting repeated. I reached a breaking point where, after this particular losing of this job, I sat down on for a serious reflection. And when I made copious notes, I wrote down, I journaled, I shut the world out and kept on thinking what could have gone wrong. That moment in my notes, one thing came up. I mean, it surfaced up, which was I was the common denominator in all the times when I had lost my job. I was fired twice. And still, I was not too clear why it was. Perhaps I was drawn in the confusion and shame and not really had the courage to look at that part of me which was repeating that part, those patterns. Then I thought I need help because I could no longer go like this. So I reached out to my coach, my mentor, and my mentor helped me with many things. I did a very extensive 7-month work with my mentor and my coach. And believe me, when the first time I was doing it, it was a lot of resistance. I was like, no, that's not me. When my mentor, my coach, showed me the mirror, the painful recognition was very tough, very, very painful. And with the tool that my coach helped me, I was shown the pattern of being a people pleaser, someone very high on harmony, and all the time seeking external validation. These were some of my patterns. I'm not sure what are yours, but I'm sure that with the next upcoming tool, perhaps you will be able to name or find out what your patterns are. There's always a pattern that runs underneath. And the way my coach helped me figure this out, in our work together, I will coach you, help you understand what this pattern is trying to protect you from. Because my pattern also played at some point in time role of a protector, where I had first developed it and how it no longer was working in favor of me. So I'm sure you also have some similar patterns. With my work, along with my coach, now as a coach, I learned that one very core reality of patterns are, and I would like to explain this through a metaphor, and the reason why I chose this particular image. This is just an example of let's say, a medicine box, a pill. Here outside is the label, and you have some medicines here or some pills here. Now, patterns are like this. Patterns are something where we can't read our own patterns because we are stuck inside this bottle. So this bottle is the environment we get stuck in, and when you are inside the bottle, when you are stuck into you're blinded from your own behavior and how that is being read by all others in the external world, you're not really able to arrive at the real reason behind your frustration, your feeling stuck, feeling lost, directionless. This is exactly what happened with me as well. I, if I'm trying hard to read the label from inside the bottle, I can never do it. You need help and support to break your patterns and then to heal them and correct them. So the tool I have for you so that we don't repeat the patterns, this is based on what I have learned and what I have personally used in my life to break through my patterns are the 3 ways. This is something which can just help you get started. First thing, look at your recurring problems. So I give you an example from my life. This was about me losing my job twice, being fired from it, despite being a good performer. I would say not necessarily when you look at your recurring problems, they may be related to a job. It could be anything. It could be about your health, your relationships, or it could be about your money issues or anything else. When you look at your recurring problems and you find that you are ending up in a same situation, this is an indication that you have a pattern. The details may change, but your pattern stays the same. It can be the way you react to certain people, events, conflicts, certain situations. Whatever the case may be, if you really want to break your pattern, the very first step is to have a very close observation about the recurring problems in your life. So sit down, reflect. If you want, have a separate journal or a notebook where you can make a note of some set of recurring problems that often keep you stuck, overwhelms you, and where are they directing you to? Like, are they related to your job, health, career, relationship, whatever it is? Write it down. And the more recurring they are, the more they will give you insights about the pattern you're repeating. Next, listen to what people tell you. I am not saying that you should take every word that the people have to say about you to your heart. However, not every feedback is criticism, friends. Sometimes our friends, our loved ones, may be little critical of us. However, when they wish good for us, they might end up giving us some feedback. So do not dismiss that, because there are very few people who might perhaps want good for you. So this include sometimes your best friend or your parents or your sibling or your your partner, who may have something to tell you, and you often keep dismissing it, saying that, no, 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 I don't believe in this. So anything that makes you defensive, that's hitting you hard on your raw nerve, that's often your blind spot. So you can, for a few minutes, you can try to not get into an argument, but also at the same time, take some time off, sit and think, why does this feedback repeatedly come back to you? In my case, the feedback that I often heard from my coach when I was doing this work was I was very high on harmony. Uh, I would avoid conflict. However, every time my coach would point that out, I would get very defensive. And I thought I was right. How could that be? I'm not the one who's fighting. I'm being very professional. However, it turns out that that was my blind spot. I don't really have to pull out swords to fight all the time, but I could have had not derailed my career or saved myself had I been aware of this particular blind spot which was working against me. So listen to what people tell you. Don't dismiss it. Third, what is it, ask yourself, you would never say about yourself? The pattern is usually the opposite of how you see yourself. For me, when I worked with my coach and I was told I was a people pleaser and that I was high on harmony, the second point resonate very strongly with me, because I kept on repeating to my coach that I was a no nonsense type of a person. But I was conflict avoidant. It's not bad to be conflict avoidant, but there were certain contexts in which you really need to take things head on. Not every issue can be resolved by being harmonious all the time. Otherwise, you end up burning yourself out. So, this was my blind spot. Think about the pattern that is opposite of how you see yourself, and you will find yours. So, it took me getting fired twice to see my patterns, and also a coach to hold up a mirror for me. It was very difficult to sit with the uncomfortable truth that I had been a people pleaser, I avoided conflict, and I sought external validation for years, and then ended up calling it all being professional. But then, once I committed myself to do the uncomfortable work, I was finally able to break it. It was not an overnight work and not easy. Trust me, it was not at all easy. But I could see it, and that changed everything. So here's a question. which you can make a note of or pause this video and try and answer this, which will help you bring insights about the patterns you can't see, the recurring problems that keeps showing up in your life, and what's the feedback that you keep dismissing. Answers to this, a deep reflection to questions like this, might open up your mind to things you've not been able to see. However, I would also like to tell you that it's not really that easy to look at our patterns, regardless of how many answers we give. We need support. That's the fact. So what I've done here is, friends, I've created a pattern breaking email course. This is a 7-day no cost course. The link to this course is given in the description box of this video, because I want you to not wait like me for a third firing or a third breakup and ending up feeling burnt out, stuck, and completely heedless. I want the best for you. And this course will help you break your patterns. If you want to go further into the depth, if you want to learn more about my work as a coach for you, well, in that case, I also leave the link in the description box of the same video, wherein you can join me for a no cost call. Share with me your issues. Let me help you and guide you through. And from there, we take it forward. Thank you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.